Welcome to a new video lesson. In today's lesson, I will analyze a part of The Good Person of Szechwan by Bertolt Brecht. So, let's begin. Today, we will deal with scene 5 of The Good Person of Szechwan. The scene is situated in the shop, Shui or Shente's shop, and as we saw in the last class that in the song of defenselessness in the interlude, we saw that in order to save the weak, in order to save the good, there needs to be have a crooked existence. Okay, so the crooked needs to come out in order to save the good. Okay, that's what is happening over here. That's what is happening through the coming of Shuita. The scene begins with Shuita sitting behind the counter and reading the paper. He takes no notice of Mrs. Shin, who is cleaning the place and talking. She says that the right time, Shuita has arrived in order to clear up the affair between young son and Shente, as Mr. Shufu has hinted that he is willing to marry, or he has intentions of getting involved, or he has interest in the young lady, that is Shente. Okay, so in order for Shente to survive, it would be best option for her to marry or to get involved with Mr. Shufu. Okay, so that is what is hinting. But Shuita is not answering anything, and finding no answer, she leaves. In the meantime, son's voice is heard from outside the stage. Okay, he says, "Is this Miss Shente's shop?" Mrs. Shin's voice, "Yes, but her cousin's there today." So Mrs. Shin informs him that it is Shente's shop, but today her cousin, that is Shuita, is today. Shuita runs to the mirror with Shente's light steps. So Shuita is thinking that Shente is thinking that she is not wearing the mask of Shuita. So she moves slowly in front of the mirror and tries to begins to arrange her hair, and realizes the mistake that she has already dressed up as Shuita. She laughs. In the meantime, enter Yang Sang. Behind him appears inquisitive Mrs. Shin. Okay, she goes past him into the back of the shop. Son says that, introduces himself and everything. Shuita, and asks for Shente. Shuita says that she is not here. Son, but I expect you are in the picture about me and her. So he says that I hope you know everything about us. He begins to take stock of the shop. Okay, so young son takes notice of everything that is present in the shop. He examines every boxes and china pots with satisfaction, because out of everything he could get benefit. Okay, he helps himself with a cigar, that is, he takes a cigar, and Shuita gives a light. Do you think we can squeeze another $300 out of the business? So what we see here is that son is actually observing. Son is actually calculating whether they could get another $300 needed by him in order to become a pilot. okay, become a male pilot, or to get a job of a male pilot. So that's why he was observing and checking out things, and so he asked the question. And what we see here is that Sun's character is, or Sun is not here for love. Sun is not here in order to take care or to express his love for Shente, but in order to get the rest of the amount that Shente has promised. Okay, so the promise was made out of love by Shente, and because she thought that Sun also loved her. Okay, but what we see here is that not a single word of love, of affection has been spoken by young Sun. Rather, he is only after getting a job, getting his dream job, out of the money, out of alluring a woman into his charms. Okay, Shweta, may I ask, is it your intention to proceed to an immediate sale? So they talk about everything, that whether the selling of the property would be immediate or not. Sun says that, why? Have we got the 300 in cash? Shweta shakes his head. It was good to her to produce the 200 at once, but I have got to have another 300. I am stuck. So Shweta convinces Sun that this hasty offering was a bit problematic. It was such a hasty offering that she did not thought about her own business, how she will pay the rent and everything. Okay, so they say haste wind that blew the house down, and so it was not a wise decision for Shente to give away the money, which was a loan, which was borrowed from another person. And also what we see here is that money was given to her only because she needed 6 months rent in advance to be paid. Okay, so Sun is inconsiderate person. Sun is an inconsiderate person, as he says that I need it now or not at all. So he is not considering anything about the shop. He is not concerned about the shop. The only thing he is concerned about is the money that he can get out of Shente in order to get the job. So he says that he needs the money now, or he don't need it. He does not need it. So he also says that the girls not one to hesitate when it is a question of giving. So Sun is constantly referring to the affection, constantly referring to the belovedness, constantly referring to the magnanimity of Shente, where she did not even thought before giving away the money. Between ourselves, she hasn't hesitated much so far. So what Sun is referring? Sun is referring that she, that is Shente, has not hesitated in giving anything to her till now. So Sun is referring both to money and to physical proximity. So he is constantly trying to assert his position that Shente is totally in love with his Sun, and Shente will not hold herself in giving the money. So Shweta's constant questioning of whether it would be it would be really good to give away the money is not understood, is not seen. Okay, Sun, all to her credit, of course. So May I ask how the $500 will be used? So Shweta asks. So what we see here is that the difference between Shweta and Shente. Shente, the only time heard about the moment she heard about that her beloved, her lover would be able to fly again, would get a job out of this place, she gave away the money instantly. But what we see here is that Shweta is the person who would not accept anything out without questioning it, without analyzing it. Okay, so Shweta asks for how those $500 will be spent. Son says that the superintendent of Pekin, who is a friend of Son, he can get him a job if he gives him 500 silver dollars. Shweta asks how is it possible. Son says that the superintendent will prove negligence against a high pilot who has a large family, and in that place they will give Son the job. And he also says that that's between us, that is, there's no need for Shente to know. So Shente, who has been a morally upright person, who has been a good woman. Okay, so what we see here is that the Shente says that Son says that Shente does not need to know all this, that he is obtaining the job, he is getting the job through backdoor policy, okay, by harming someone else. Okay, so he is telling this because he thinks that, because Son thinks that Shente is a good person, and on the other hand Shweta is an evil-minded man, and he would understand the nitty-gritties of the society. How to get the job would be fully understood by Shweta, so he is not going to speak about it, okay, to others. So he is asked not to speak about it. Shweta, perhaps not. On one point, won't the superintendent be sailing you up the river a month later? So what Shweta is concerned about, or concernedly asks, that if the superintendent can turn this person out to get when he gets money or bribe, can he not do the same with you when he gets money from another source? Son is very confident that he could not be turned out because he will not be negligent enough. He will not be negligent. Shweta nods. It is hungry dog who pulls the cart home quickest. So what does he try to say? That anyone who is hungry enough, anyone who has the demand to satisfy his needs, will always try to do anything to get anything. That is, if a person is in dire need of a job, he will do anything to get the job. So you know not what the society is. You might be turned out of the job that you are snatching from someone else. Okay, that is advised or said to the young lover of Shente, that is Son. And also he asks that, I take it your intention is to marry Shente. So if you are asking, Shweta also asks that, if you are asking for such huge amount of money, such a huge favor from Shente, so it is quite possible, it is quite evident that you are going to marry Shente, right? I would be prepared to. Okay, Sun says that he is willing to marry Shente, or he will prepare to. Then wouldn't it be pity in let the business go for a few silver dollars? You won't get much for a quick sale. That 200 silver dollars that you have already got would guarantee rent for next 6 months. Do you not feel all tempted to carry out the tobacconist business? So Shweta is addressing the fact that as he is not going to immediately marry Shente, so isn't it would be improper to do away with the business now, as hasty business deals, as hasty selling might get less income out of it, less money out of it. Okay, Sun says that Sun is also being said by Shweta that shouldn't he take some interest in the business and take it further. Okay, Sun says that what me have people see young son the pilot serving behind the counter. So he does not have a job, he does not have any income, he was going to do suicide, but what we see here is that his arrogance, his idea of self-importance has not gone. Okay, so what we see here is that he thinks it to be demeaning to his character, demeaning to his stature in the society, that he, being a pilot, would serve behind the counter. Okay, so what he sees that, so he is a self-conceited man, he thinks himself to be self-important, and that's what is forcing him to think that it would be derogatory for his character to stay behind the counter and do the business. So his only vocation can be going to fly. Okay, Shweta, and is flying a carrier, may I ask? Son takes the letter from his pocket. They are paying me 250 silver dollars a month. Hey, here is the letter, see for yourself. So the stamp postmark Pekin, 250 silver dollars, that is a lot. So the letter says that he would be paid a salary of 250 silver dollars. Son, do you think I am flying for nothing? Whatever, here comes Mrs. Mirzu. I will ask her advice about the sale. So Shweta says that the pilot's job, which means so much to him, looking from her point of view, from Shente's point of view, that there would not be any objection. Okay, but he needs to talk to Mrs. Mirzu in order to take advice about the sale of the property, sale of the business. Mirzu enters. Good morning, Shweta. I am suppose it's about your rent that's due day after tomorrow. Shweta, Mrs. Mirzu, she is contemplating marriage and her future husband. He introduces young son. So he speaks to Mirzu that his cousin Shente is in such a flux, that is in such a condition that she is willing to sell off the business and is willing to get married to the future husband, who is young son, and they are introduced, and young son is taking her to Peking, where they wish to start a new life. Okay, so That is what is said by Shweta. Mirzu, how much do you need? Son, 300 in cash. So Mirzu in an instant says that how much money do they need in order to start off a new life and everything. Son within an instant says that 300 in cash. Shweta quickly says, no, 500. Mirzu to son, perhaps I can help you out. How much did your stock cost? Shweta, my cousin originally paid 1,000 silver dollars and very little of it has been sold. Mirzu, 1,000 silver dollars. She was swindled, of course. I will make you an offer. You can have 300 silver dollars for the whole business. The son says, alright, that's it, old boy. So if you move out day after tomorrow. So as Mrs. has been told by Shweta that how his cousin Shente is willing to move out or want to sell the business, as she is considering marriage with young son. And son, what we see here is that son is only focused with satisfying his own needs. The need that he has is 300 silver dollars. He has no consideration how much the business will earn. The only consideration is that he gets his remaining money, that is 300 silver dollars. Okay, for him love is just a medium to fulfill his desires. There is no space for the needs of the lover, that is needs of Shente. And we will see in the later half also that in the coming sections also, that though Shweta says that son is willing to take her, that is Shente, to Pekin, but we will find out that he is not willing to do so. He has only 2 tickets, and the 2 tickets are bought for him and his mother. Okay, so he is again cheating. He is again here only to get hold of the money. Okay, so but when son says that 300 silver dollars, that is his own need, he wants to satisfy his own needs, what we find here is that Shweta has not forgotten the money that needs to be paid to the old woman, the carpet seller, from whom he has taken, or she has taken rather, Shente has taken the money. Okay, or she has been offered the money. So Shweta is considering those $200 which needs to be given away, which needs to be given back to the old woman. But what we see here is that still these are a condition of loss, because Shweta says that Shente has bought these things, all these products that is present in the business for 1,000 silver dollars, and Mitsu says that she has been cheated there also. Okay, while buying all those things for 1,000 silver dollars, and she offers that she would give 300 if the place is cleared off day after tomorrow. So obviously she would give the lowest price as offered. Okay, and this offer is made by son, and what we see here is that son, it's enough. Shweta, I must have at least 500. What for? He says that the 2 old people against the 200 silver dollars. All the stock of tobacco is placed to 200 silver dollars against those people who has given him the money. Okay, So what we see here is that in spite of taking the garb, in spite of taking on the mask of a person who is very shrewd, okay, Shui, that is Shweta, in spite of that, he is an honest man, right? He is not willing to cheat those people. Okay, the son slowly, is there anything about it in writing? So here see the dishonesty in son. Son says that, is there anything in written that you have taken 200 silver dollars from those old people? So he is hinting that forget about it, you do not have to pay it, as it has not been written anywhere. So you can easily cheat those people, you can easily take those 200 silver dollars. Son to Mrs. Mitsu, after a short pause, 300 will do us. So see the power that he is holding over Shweta also, because in spite of in spite of wearing the mask of Shente, the heart is still Shente's. She is still there, she is still loving in young son. But what we see here is that because of that, son is taking advantage of it, though he does not know that Shweta and Shente are the same person. In spite of that, she is taking Miss Mitsu, that is, Mitsu is taking advantage out of the low quotation of 300 silver dollars, and son is also wanting to get the exact amount that is needed for him to get the job. So he is not considerate, he is not willing to pay the money back to the old people. Okay, Shweta, the business has no outstanding debts. And how soon can we have 300 silver dollars? The day after tomorrow. You have better think it over. I can offer you 300, that's only because I am glad to help where it seems to be the case of young love. Mrs. Mitsu says that she is helping out, she can help out with only 300 silver dollars, and she is only helping out because it is about young love. She is so considerate. But actually what we know, what we understand here is that as she is getting the business with so much profit, the business has been bought for 1000 silver dollars, now it can be bought for 300 silver dollars, so it is a huge profit for the buyer. That's why she is willing to give those money, she is willing to give those buy the business and give those 300 silver dollars. Son calling after her, it's a deal, lock stock barrel for 300. Then we could even pay back the 200. I suppose we might get the better offer in next 2 days. So he says that he can get the better offer, then we could even pay back the 200. Shweta, not in time. We shan't get a single dollar over Mitsu. Have you got the money for both your tickets and enough to tide you over? These lines are important. So what we see here is that the changing attitude of Shweta, okay, towards son. Still till this very point he had been a considerate person, he has been a loving person towards son, because inside he is Shente, right? So but now he is becoming, that is Shweta is becoming to consider every option to check whether this person, whether Shente is not cheated, okay, by son. So he asks, do you have the money for both the tickets and enough to survive? So what we see here is that Shweta or Shente is so much calculative. She, or rather he, calculates everything which needs to be done, whereas young son is not considerable enough. He does not take care of the money or the all the money needed for the ticket and for them to stay in Peking, okay, in order to survive. So Shweta son says sure he would get the money to buy the tickets and everything. Shweta says how much? I can't raise it even if I had to. Anyway, I will raise it even if I have to steal it. So he does not have the money. He is totally dependent on Shente, and he gives away the business out of his own curiosity to get a short term goal of getting the 300 silver dollars. He could have easily got more money, but his foolishness, his arrogance, or his excitedness to sell the property of another person to get the exact amount, he is not calculative. Okay, Shweta says that, so that's another sum that has to be raised. Don't worry, old boy, I will get to Peking all right. Shweta, it costs quite a bit for two. So Shweta harps on the exact thing. He says that it would not be easy for you people to leave, okay, as it would cost you people a much in those places. It costs a bit, it costs much for two people to survive there. Okay, so what is being said here is that son is surprised. 2. I am leaving the girl here. She would only be a liability at first. So what we see here is that he is taking the money of her, but he is not willing to take the girl at first. He would leave the girl over here, take away her business, and what would be, how would she live? How would she fend for herself? How would she take care of herself? How would she even eat? Okay, so what we see here is that son is inconsiderate. He thinks only about himself, and it is very clear that he is with her, he is with Shente only because he is after her money. He does not have any romantic feelings for her. Okay, so Shweta understands it very thing, and says, I see. Shweta also says, I should like you to hand me back the 200 silver dollars, Mr. Youngson, and leave them with me until you are in position to show me the 2 tickets to Peking. Okay, so Shweta is taking control of everything. He is saying that give those 200 silver dollars back unless you have 2 tickets of Peking that you show. You won't be having the money. Okay, son, my dear cousin, I should like you to mind your own business. Shweta, Miss Shente, you just leave her to me. Shweta still continues, may not wish to proceed with the sale of a business. As she hears, oh yes, she will. So what we see here is the son is very confident about selling the business and everything in order to get his job done. But what we see here is that Shweta is taking control of everything. Shweta is there. Shweta is trying to hold everything in order to control the loss that Shente might face. Okay, so what we see here is that In spite of Shweta trying to taking control over the life of Shente by eliminating all the problems of Shente, what we see here is that Shente is constantly falling into traps of evil-minded people. The latest is young son, who has clearly fallen or made Shente fall in love with him, and because of that, what we see here is that son has an upper hand over her, and for that she is being commanded by son. Her business is being commanded by son in her absence, where Shweta could not even control those commands. Okay, though he says that he needs those money back from son, yet those things are not considered seriously by son, and he is amused. He says amusingly that the thing that is given cannot be taken back. What he considers this to? He considers or speaks this on the account of the treatment that was given by the society to Shente. Okay, the treatment of hatred, the treatment of cold shoulder, the ill treatment that she faced over her lifetime is thrown away by the power of love. So-called power of love, apparent power of love. He astounds the imagine there the female relation effect the sensible argument, where as he put his hand on her shoulder and say, "You are coming with me," she would hear the bells and recognize her. She won't recognize her own mother. So what Young Sun is trying to portray here is that he has behaved so well, he has behaved in such a way that Shente is totally in love with her. He has given, or he has talked in so very cordial way, so very lovingly, that Shente is totally in love with her. And if he asks her to come with him, then she would also forget of her own existence, of her own mother. That is, Sun is trying to project that Shente is totally in love with him. Shente is completely in love with him to forget about his own existence. Okay, Shweta laboriously, Mr. Young Sun. So what we see here is that there is a constant demarcation, there is a constant portrayal of Shweta, Sun and Shente. On one side there is Shente, on another side there are two men who are present here. Okay, Shweta and Sun, though Shweta and Shente are the same, but what I am trying to say here is that Shente is constantly fooled by other people, right, taking advantage of, and Sun is no different. Sun has done the same thing, and he is telling all those things that he has made Shente a fool by the act of love, right, is spoken in front of Shente herself, who is in disguise of Shweta. Okay, so Shweta is constantly behaving as Shweta, the cold one, the cold person, but deep inside she is feeling, that is Shweta is feeling the feelings of Shente. Okay, as Shente could also hear these things, and she could now understand what she has fallen into, how she has been cheated again by the person she gave away the money, by the person whom she has loved the most. Okay, so Shweta says that my cousin is indebted to you because dot dot dot. He could not complete the sentence, that is of love. Because of love he is indebted to. Okay, because of love Shente has given Shente has given all the amount that she had. So এটাই হয়, এরকম ভালোবাসার ক্ষেত্রে, অন্ধ ভালোবাসার ক্ষেত্রে এরকমই হয়। একজন হচ্ছে চিরকাল দিয়ে যায়, অন্যজন হচ্ছে তাকে সারা জীবন হচ্ছে ঠকিয়ে যায়। দ্যাট ইজ হোয়াট দ্য প্রবলেম ইজ, দ্যাট ইজ দ্য পিকচার অফ দ্য সোসাইটি, দ্যাট ইজ দ্য রিয়ালিটি, where scheming people always try to take advantage of good-hearted person, good-hearted ladies, or the other way around, the shrewd women take to try to take advantage of good-hearted boys or male in order to satisfy their own demands. ঠিক আছে, সেই ডিমান্ডটা হচ্ছে ফোনে টাকা ভরে দেওয়া থেকে শুরু করে হচ্ছে সেক্সুয়াল অ্যাফিলিয়েশন অর সেক্সুয়াল ইন্টারকোর্স অর এনিথিং, যা খুশি হতে পারে। তাদের ডিমান্ডগুলো পরিপূর্ণ, সেই ডিমান্ডটা পরিপূর্ণ হয়ে গেলে সেও পালিয়ে যায়। এটা সোসাইটির রিয়ালিটি। ঠিক আছে, ভেরি ফিউ পিপল আর দেয়ার টু গেট ট্রু লাভ, যেখানটায় হচ্ছে কোনো ডিমান্ডস নেই, সেখানটা হচ্ছে শুধু পিওর ভালোবাসা রয়েছে। ওকে, সো হোয়াট উই সি হিয়ার ইজ দ্যাট দিস লাভ, সো কল্ড লাভ, is true from the part of Shente, but when we consider it from the perspective of young son, what we see here is that this love, this relationship is nothing but an opportunity for him to climb the ladder of society. His only chance, his best chance to get his job back, okay, or to get a new job, whatever it may be. So he is just using her as a ladder or as a stepping stone or an opportunity to get the job. He is not at all in love with her. Okay, so son, let's say because I got my hand inside her blouse, so Shweta says before he could complete the sentence that indebted to because of love, he stops that sentence. Before completing, son stops that sentence and says that it is because that he could take Shente into her own arms and into the conception that he is totally in love with her and could make sexual intercourse with her. Okay, so he takes another cigar. You are not to go empty handed, we are getting married and that's settled, and she will bring the 300 with her, or else you will either her or you. So see the level of confidence. So what son says that, but son's perception is that of he has made her indebted because he had sex with her. Okay, so she is not only exploited monetarily but also her emotions are played with. The love that Shente has for son is nothing but a means of earning money to satisfy his needs. Okay, the love of Shente for son is actually a stepping stone, is actually a way through which is a medium through which Shente would be exploited. এরকম অনেক ভালোবাসা অনেক লাভ স্টোরির মধ্যে হয় যে মেয়েটা সারা জীবন হচ্ছে কষ্ট করে যাচ্ছে আর ছেলেটা হচ্ছে কি করছে তার ফায়দা নিয়ে যাচ্ছে, বলছে এত টাকা নিয়ে আয়, ওই কর সেই কর, বা উল্টো কেসটাও হচ্ছে ছেলেটা এতটাই হচ্ছে ভালোবাসে মেয়েটাকে যে মেয়েটা যা বলবে আজকে এখানটায় নিয়ে চলো, কালকে সেখানটায় নিয়ে চলো, আজকে এই অমুক কিনে দাও তমুক কিনে দাও, সেই সমস্ত চলতেই থাকে. So what we see here is that one person's insecurity, a person's not only insecurity but also the genuineness of love is being used by another person, the partner, not as a loving thing, not as a caring thing, but as a stepping stone, as a thing which can be used in order to survive in society. That is not seen as love, that is not seen as an opportunity to have a healthy life, of healthy love life. But what we see here is that this kind of people is always present to take advantage out of it, to satisfy their own demands. That demands can be monetary or sexual or anything else. That is what is happening. She is exploited physically, emotionally and monetarily by son. Okay, so when we see that when we see son is saying that either she is bringing the 300 silver dollars or you, so what we see here is that the level of exploitation is increasing with every instance. His confidence has increased so highly, his confidence has increased so to a level of such height that he could easily command over over Shweta, who has no affiliation with him, to bring those money, or as that would bring a bad reputation to Shente. Okay, Shweta cries out, the business has gone, he is not in love. This means ruins, I am lost. He begins to rush round like a captive animal. He suddenly stops and addresses Mrs. Shin. Okay, so what we see here is that even Shweta's power, even Shweta's garb of strongness is unable to hold the power within her, hold or to save Shente from disastrous situation. But what we see here is that, but what we know that this is the climax, but nothing is lost totally. Okay, so he says to Mrs. Shin that times are frightful, the town is hell, but we scrabble up the naked walls that one of us is overcome by disaster. He is in love, that is enough, he is lost. A single weakness and you can be shoveled away. So that is what is happening throughout the society, that what happens throughout. A single weakness of yours will be used against yourself. Okay, the weakness, if it is known by your enemies or even your competitors, those single weakness will be used against you and the downfall of yours will be done. How can you remain free of every weakness, above all of the most deadly of love? So what we see here is that Shweta is constantly repenting of the decision of Shente, that she has fallen in love with a person who does not love her back. And what he says is that we are seeing such a condition, we are seeing such a thing where Shente is not loved back, and that is what the society is. Society is always up to take advantage of the people, of their weaknesses, right? So it is intolerable. So the comment or the dialogues to Mrs. Shin is a comment on the society. Also, through by commenting on the life of Shente, he is commenting on the society, where love has become a sort of way of gain, where for example, in Pride and Prejudice, the relationship between or the marriage of Mr. Collins and Charlotte, okay, those that marriage was based on convenience, how one will support one another, how they will take advantage of the position to satisfy the ego, or to have a wife on the other part, Charlotte's part. What we see here, what we see that she needs to get married as she is becoming old. So what we see here is that love's caresses merge in strangulation. যখন কাউকে ভালোবাসা হয়, যদি সেটা একতরফা ভালোবাসা হয় আর অন্যজন শুধু অ্যাক্টিং করা যায়, সেই লাভের যে আদরটা, ভালোবাসার যে আদরটা, সেটা কিসে হয়? সেটার যে মাথায় হাত বোলানোটাও যেন স্ট্র্যাঙ্গুলেশন, গলা টেপার মতো হয়ে যায়। লাভ সাইজ গ্রো ইন্টু স্ক্রিম অফ ফিয়ার। লাভের মধ্যে যে দীর্ঘশ্বাস পড়ে, সেইটা কিসের পরিণত হয়? সেইটা হচ্ছে স্ক্রিম, ভয়ে পরিণত হয়। একটা মানুষকে তুই সারা জীবন ভালোবেসে গেলি, ঠিক আছে, বা তুই ভালোবেসে গেলি, সে হচ্ছে তোর সাথে শুধু ছলনা করে গেল, তোর সাথে অভিনয় করে গেল, তাহলে তোর যে দীর্ঘশ্বাসটা পড়বে সেটা ভালোবাসার জন্যে না, যে তোর সমস্ত কিছু আছে সেই ভালোবাসার জন্যে না, সেটা কি ভয়ের জন্যে হচ্ছে তোর আওয়াজটা হবে। What are vultures hovering for? A girl is keeping an appointment. So সব জায়গায় হচ্ছে ভালচারগুলো ঘুরে বেড়াচ্ছে, এরকম শকুনগুলো হচ্ছে ঘুরে বেড়াচ্ছে তাদের অপরচুনিটির জন্যে, লোকজনকে হচ্ছে ভুল বুঝিয়ে তাদের থেকে হচ্ছে ফায়দা নেওয়ার জন্যে। So what we see here is that it is a picture of the society where what sort of world do we live in? কমেন্টারি বললাম এক্ষুনি যে সোসাইটির পিকচারটাকে হচ্ছে তুলে ধরছে থ্রু দ্য love relation of Shente and young son. Okay, so we end it over here, though the scene is not complete. We will continue the next part of the scene in next class. Okay, so the most important thing over here is that a picture of the society, and also the reaching of the climax, where we see that in spite of Shente taking on the disguise of Shuita, she is not being able to take control over the situation, because inside she is totally in love with him, and she could not be rude, or what we say here is that Shuita could not be thoroughly rude with with young son, and son had the upper hand. But what we see here is that what we will realize in the next sections, that this will be an eye opener for Shente, this would be an eye opener for Shuita, and they would need to turn around. And what we see here is that most importantly the last section where Shuita speaks to Mrs. Shin, it comments on the society, it comments on the love relationships that are existent. The love relationship shows that this kind of people is always present, where they are after taking advantage of you by showing that how much they care about you, how much they love and everything. And we people like Shente are always fooled with it. The only weakness that she had is that she did not got any care. She was ill treated by the society. She was never loved back. She was always a tool, an instrument of pleasure. Okay, so when one shows care, when one shows love, one easily falls for it. That has what happened. That has been the case of Shente. It has happened in this way with Shente. So the one weakness that she had was the seeking of love. Okay, that has brought her to this situation where she is being used by a young son. Okay, so be aware of everything, of every person who is there, to treat you in such glorious way, who talks so sweetly about you. Judge him very minutely. That's the advice for today. Thank you.